This is the campaign strategy for South Maroubra Surf Life Saving Club by Sarah Teitler. So, who is South Maroubra? South Maroubra is the surf club at the south end of Maroubra Beach in which they patrol. They have about approximately 2,000 members, 1,300 of those being nippers. This means they have the largest nipper program in Australia due to the number of participants. Despite this, there is an ever-present issue of member retention, specifically amongst the youth. The youth, in the sense of this campaign, are 13 to 15-year-olds. There is an issue with individuals graduating from the nipper program and then dropping out of surf life saving altogether instead of continuing through the youth program. Thus, there's an opportunity to expand the youth program to include frequent and engaging activities to attempt to increase membership retention in this section. The strategy in a nutshell includes two key publics, one being the young teenagers themselves, aged 13 to 15 years old, who are currently in or graduated from the nipper program at South Maroubra. The second being their parents, the parents of young teenagers whose kids are already part of the nipper program at South Maroubra. It's highly important that both key publics are communicated to, because although the young teenagers will hold opinions in regards to the youth program, the parents are the ones who make the ultimate decision for their children. The campaign includes 2 goals with a total of 6 objectives and 5 communication tactics, which stretch across interpersonal, owned and paid media. And the campaign is low budget to accommodate for the non-for-profit organisation and spans across a 3-year period. So a bit of a recap on the research. South Maroubra has had consistent growth across all sections and segments across the last 10 years. However, there has been a decrease or just no increase in the number of nippers who are graduating the program and then continuing throughout the club. And that can be due to disinterest in surf life saving or a more keen interest in other sports and hobbies. Now, their main form of communication is on Facebook. However, that is not catered to this youth sector that we're talking about. They have recently, in the last 6 to 9 months, included TikTok, and that's an ever-growing presence on that platform. And they have a really great training program which incites participation and frequent engagement. So we've used this to then create the foundation for the goals and objectives of this campaign. So the first goal is to increase and maintain membership retention across ages 13 to 15 years old. In order to achieve this, there are 3 objectives, 2 of them being action and 1 of them being acceptance. The 2 action objectives include that within the next 3 seasons, so 5 saving seasons, to increase the number of nipper graduates who stay in the club to 80% from the now 1/3. Then to get 30 participants in the transition courses from the Surf Rescue Certificate to the Bronze Medallion over the next 12 months, as this is most cost effective for the club, as they don't need to invest as much time and energy and money into taking someone's skill level from 0 to 100 and instead take it from, let's say, 65 to 100. The third, being the acceptance one, is that to enhance the favourable attitudes of kids who are currently in nippers in regard to continuing through the youth program by 40% within the next 2 seasons. The second goal is to build the foundations of an engaging youth program at South Maroubra. In order to accomplish this, there are 2 action objectives, but first one, awareness, and that awareness being to make those at South Maroubra aware of the available youth social media platforms in the next upcoming season, and thus then to increase the TikTok following to 1,000 followers within the next 12 months, as it's currently just below 500, and to get at least 30 participants aged 13 to 15 years old at all youth events in the next season as well. So the key messages are split between the 2 key publics. The first message on the left-hand side of your screen really dictates that the club understands that kids this age need a sense of belonging, and they are accommodating to provide that through all different areas and avenues, whether that's just patrolling, whether it's competing, whether it's building new friendships. And the second one being that this is an environment where you can make forever friends, which once again is such a pressing issue for kids this age. And this message shows that the organisation is aware of the positive impacts that this provides to children this age. The next two key messages are in regard to the parents, and both really emphasize that the organization is here to prioritize a safe environment for these kids, especially living in Australia, living in Sydney on the eastern suburbs. Being water safe and being beach safe is key, and this is an environment where they can foster those skills, including friendships. On to the communication tactics, the first being interpersonal media. This is a special event, a seminar discussing the future pathways in surf life saving. It will occur twice during a season, once at the beginning and once at the end, accommodating those who have just breached into this youth category and those who are just graduating from it. Face-to-face opportunities for personal involvement and interaction leave a more lasting impact than any other sort of communication tactic. And this is an opportunity for others to meet new people, but also to provide kind of awareness of what goes on in surf life saving. The next three are owned media, and the reason that majority of them are owned media is because this is for a non-for-profit organization. So we are prioritizing things that the organization can do themselves to save money. So the first is just publishing newsletter articles in their monthly newsletter, the Bluing, and this reaches both the parent and the teenager audience as it's sent to all members. The second being the social media posts, so a series of posts, whether that be of current youth members or slightly older members who have done some really inspiring things, but also just information about upcoming events and highlight reels. And the third being posters. So this is where this awareness kicks in. Posters about the social media channels and what they actually do. This is an example of those posters. So you have one that's catered just to Instagram, the middle one that's catered just to TikTok on the right, and then both of them in the middle, involving QR codes so people can go straight to those channels. And the third is paid. So merchandise with the logo, perhaps the youth sector comes up with a brand name like South River Sharks, and it's enticing the youth members to join this group so they get this promotional item. This is the timeline. So as mentioned, surf life saving season starts in September and it goes till about April. So that's why the timeline isn't in your normal 12 months. Again, as mentioned previously, this is as cost effective as possible because it's a non-for-profit and we want the non-for-profit to save as much money and do as much as they can with as little money as they can. The evaluation is using a lot of surveys from beginning to end of season, but then also looking at sign-up sheets, enrollment forms, and all of that. So effectively, what this campaign is doing and why this is so good for the client and why this should be of top priority is because not only is it cost effective, but you're setting the foundation for future programs to evolve and develop even further than this campaign. This campaign sets the foundation so the organization can stretch far beyond this using social media, interpersonal connections, and much more. Thank you.